Good evening, everybody. Have you missed me? Welcome back. We are once again here for the Cone Racing Academy, and it's a season opener. We are in Mexico City. You can see there already one of the racing points is very eager to get out as we start this second season following the success of the Cone Racing Academy. Welcome along once again, as I said, to this first season race. We are here as part of the Cone Racing League with their Cone Racing Academy. We started this division last year. It's basically for those drivers that are looking to improve their league racing skills, whether they're new to the game, whether they've never raced in the league before, or if they just started playing the game. This is where we want you to do that. So as you can see, we've only got 14 drivers on the grid. Don't take that into account for the racing league. Unfortunately, a few drivers being so close to be able to make it, unfortunately they can't join us. So just the 14 drivers, a few reserves in there as well. But before we go into all that, a reminder, if you didn't tune in last week, the Tier 1 and Tier 2 championships of the Cone Racing League, they started their seasons in Mexico. Tune in on our YouTube channel. The videos are now live. We've got commentary from Cal Cohen and Denival of Tier 2, and then Cool Dude Boy was in the box for the first division, so go check them out. Don't remember, like and subscribe. And then it's me here to join you for this Cone Racing Academy. So it'll be a short qualifying form then for these drivers, a little bit different from regular Tier 1 and Tier 2 racing, where we have the full qualifying session and the 50% race. So it's 18 minutes qualifying and 25% race. In terms of assist, we're running reduced damage, of course, as the same as last year, for the pure premise that we don't want these drivers that are coming in to learn how the game works to have a crash on the first lap and then not be able to take part in either qualifying or the race. So that is reduced. You will still see drivers losing their front wings. Some might even suffer the sort of thing you don't want, where they go, as we see a racing point going very wide there, where they might suffer that unfortunate incident where they do crash out, but we give them all the chance to stay in the race. As for the rest of the rules, it's strict corner cutting as usual. Safety car is on. Ghosting is turned on, however, for the academy, because that's a little bit tricky sometimes to get the grips. We're about to see the first time of the 2020 Cone Racing Academy Season 2 lap time. There is a 1:20.5 from Meister Letho. He and his friend Evan Wolf Gaming came along. They're both in different teams though. One's in the Renault, one's in the Racing Point, as we await some more drives to go. Then MUFC Harvey, 4 seconds quicker off the bat then, putting that Ferrari in the first position as Strauss. If you recognise that name, that is because this is the brother of one of our Tier 1 drivers. We've got Strauss P01 driving in the Ferrari for the Tier 1, and then Strauss J in this Williams here. He is, of course, reserving, though. I did mention at the start some of the drivers are reserving as they're new to the league, and we've had a few spaces open up for one reason or another, so this is a chance for them to just have that experience on the new game. So here's one of the reservers showing there some very good pace early on, a 1:15.8. Super Gabu, one of the hot favourites for this title. He's currently in second at 1:16.2. We'd put him usually on provisional pole if this was a normal race, but obviously, as I said, one of those reserves showing his true pace. Now, you might notice there is a name missing from the list of drivers in the academy. He is not missing because of an absence. He has not been replaced by Zovan. He has not left the league. It is M66 is the name you might be looking for. He won our academy division last year, and he has been promoted to Tier 1, utilising the academy exactly how we wanted it to. Started off very strongly, continued that pace, and he's earned himself a drive in the top tier for this season. Christian Galang, his title rival for much of that season, also getting a promotion. He's gone into Tier 2, however, after the new game switch but his Capawando setting a 118.5. Then that puts him and his Alpha Tauri in 6th. Oh, you can see a little bit loose coming through the S section then, as we see Matt Warner, another driver from last year, coming through those S section. Now we'll stay on board with Matt, and as he comes through the stadium section, we'll take you on a lap of this Mexico City circuit, the Autodrómo Hermanos Rodriguez. 17 turns, I believe. Yeah, 17 turns for these drivers, and he comes around turn 17 now. How will he fare of these next 2.7 miles? We shall see as he comes across the line, shifting up into 8th gear. You're at maximum throttle for the duration of this long straight. You're looking to get to about the 150 meter board before you put the brakes on. You start to shift down the gears as you come in through this lovely chicane section of turn 1, flicking the car right, shifting down to second for turn 3, flicking it right for turn 3, and it comes on the power. It's a double DRS zone here in Mexico, so technically this is the second DRS zone as we come up in the hill towards turn 4 for the nice and twisty left-hander. Shifting down on the tighter apex for turn 5 through the double right 90 degrees of 6 and 7. Feel a lot tight on 2020 than they did on 2019. Shifting left then through what is turn 7, the S's of 8, 9, 10 and 11 can catch you, as we see Matt Warner having to back off the throttle there. Aerodynamics key for this track. You want a lot of downforce to be able to get through those corners nice quick as he turns around turn 12, then into the world renowned stadium section. This turn 13, one of the slowest on the circuit to come through. The kinks of 14, 15, round 16, and then the sort of fast right hander of turn 17 gets you through the lap, and it's a 119 flat from Matt. He goes into P9. So 10 of the drivers set, and the time then separated by that 4-second gap. But I'd expect those times to get faster, even I should say, as the tyre wear and track evolution starts to kick in. A little difference you'll notice from 2019 to 2020. As you can see, no driver numbers in particular. Codemasters decided to keep the actual driver numbers, so shadow movie they can see in the number 7 obtained by Kimi Räikkönen. He's about to start his outlap then. His teammate unable to make the race today. Once again, we are running a Constructors' Championship here in the CRA. Obviously, we start that this week with 14 drivers. Not the way we would want it to do for fairness, but unfortunately, racing points in a good 2 McLarens in this session, 2 Hasses there for them, but if they are being covered by a reserve, they will not count towards a title. So Murphy in one of those Hasses will not score points should he finish in that top 10. So we've had almost half the session. My God, it's flown. Strauss J01 sits on pole position at 1:15.8 on his first run, putting in 4/10 clear of hotly tipped Super Gabu in the Red Bull, 1:16.2 for him. Just behind them, 2 more 1:16s. It's a 1:16.6 for Racing Slade, and MUFC Harvey, a newcomer, 1:16.9, putting himself up there for this division. He's currently coming through turn 9, and now you can see whether he goes up on his time or is he a little bit slower. He's up, he's down by 6/10, I should say so. Unless he can find that time through these last few corners, he will remain in 4th place for the time being. Vegas, another one of our returning drivers. He's opting for the medium, so it is interesting to say this. Remember, in a short qualifying format, you do not have what you do in full qualifying, where you tend to use Q2 as your strategy implementation. So if you go for the mediums in a situation like this, you are going to start lower down than those soft runners, but you do gain that strategy. It's a 25% lap race, remember. I think that's 18 laps here in Mexico, so you'll be looking at the one stop. Medium to soft would be the optimum, as you can go longer on that extended set, and the softs tend to wear quite quickly here. We can see there Racing Slade staying on 3-lap old tyres for that time. A lot of drivers going for just the one. As Warrior Huntsman jumps the Ferrari of Harvey, then he moves up into 5th place. The Alpha Tauri there 4th and 9th currently. They'll be looking to keep those there for the race. What about Matt? He's currently in P10, 119.079. We saw him having to back off through the S's, so he'll be looking to prove it. Strauss goes even faster. I mentioned the guy was looking like he was quick, and there we go, a 1:14.798 puts him 1.3 seconds clear of Super Gabu. So a mega lap from the Williams driver. As we see Super Gabu invalidating his time then. Wonder whether he's got enough fuel to go for another run. Still roughly 7 minutes and 15 seconds left in this session. Plenty of time then for drivers to box once more, put a fresh set of tyres on and come out again. Ideally, if you're going to go for a last minute fly, you want to leave about 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 15 seconds to go. So we've got 5 minutes till we're at that stage. Warrior Huntsman then comes into the box after setting that lap time. What about his teammate who's still in the pits? Wolf Gaming then on another lap time, coming through this double right-hander. Nice clean exit there, puts it on the power. How does he approach the first part of this S section? He runs a little bit wider on the exit, but he can put the power down nice and on. You can take a lot more curve than you think here in Mexico. You can almost run half your car over some of those curves for what is a straight line. But as we see Shadow Moody off the track there, almost coming on and impeding the Renault's lap time. What is he doing there? Shadow Moody really costing that Renault some time. He's currently on a 1:18.1 is Wolf Gaming, and he looked like he could have been up, but yeah, as you see, he dives into the pit lane. So I'm not sure whether Shadow Moody went off, he's run out of fuel or whatever, but really got in the way of the Renault driver there. One to look out for there. Remember, there is an independent stewarding panel involved here at CRA, runs across all 3 divisions, as we don't trust Cove Masters as much as we should. That tends to be the case with many a player on this game. Capawanda then is coming out for another flying lap. 2 drivers still remaining to set lap time. One of those is Carter. You can see him on his out lap now as he comes through the S section, and Greg's Game Centre, another one of our drivers from last year, mightily impressive in terms of his development, as he crashed out unfortunately for him on the first lap of Australia, but managed to finish every other race, I believe, with a few good performances thrown in there as well. So what can they muster? 5 minutes left of this session. We're currently looking at Strauss Joe on a 1:14.7, and while I've been talking, Murphy has gone into P2 then, a 1:15.9. So the second the second sub 1:16 lap time of this session by another one of the reserves for this division. Murphy involved in tier 2 but wasn't involved on Thursday, I don't believe, so he is reserving for this race. So if you do see a bit of a discrepancy between those times, it is this season opener. We were short on numbers because of one reason or another, so we are giving some of those drivers from the tier above the chance to be able to get that extra bit of practice. As we jump on board with Carter, and he's invalidated already then, so he will have to come out again. Still 4 minutes to go, so plenty of time for him there. What about Greg then? Talking about him from last season, as we go through then into his flying lap. DRS opens for what is going to be a double DRS zone in the race. We need to remember that. So he needs to be within a second of that final corner. You can just about see it there in the bottom right. There's a racing point going through that little green circle. That is the DRS detection zone, as Greg's Game Centre comes around the final corner of that chicane, but opens DRS for the second time. What's his first sector going to be like? It's a 29.7 at Fort Greg, so it's not the fastest time we've seen so far today in that first sector, but he's kept it nice and clean, which is what you ideally want from a qualifying lap. As he comes through into turn 8 in the first of these S's. Lovely camera angle here as you see the car flicking right and left, and then right again, and then left again as you come and open the DRS for the second time, the third time on the lap, sorry, in the second DRS zone down into turn 12. Bit slow there on entry from the Racing Point driver as he comes around turn 13 there. Staying in third gear though. If I was him, I'd be sort of looking at second gear, so whether he's backed off the lap, which it looks like he might have done, he was really struggling. So it's going to be a 1:20.7 for Greg, but I believe he can definitely go faster than that, and hopefully he can. If you say we've got 2 minutes and 35 seconds left there, so I was mentioning if you're looking to get a last minute flying, now is where you want to do it. Vegas setting his lap time then on the mediums, only driver to do so. Racing Slade currently out on his mediums. He sits in 4th place for the McLaren at the moment. Will he be able to stay there? Will he improve on that time with the mediums? Remember, he set that original lap time on softs. No, it's a 1:18.6. So you can see there the difference in tyre compounds, about 1.5 seconds slower on average around this circuit, purely down to the fact there's a lot of fast-paced zones with that thinner rubber and traction on the softer red-walled compound. So Strauss coming out again, looking to cement his place on the front row, as is Murphy's. We've got a few drivers currently out on laps. Warrior Huntsman in 5th, Harvey in 6th. He's about to cross the line. He was 0.039 hundredths up, and he's 10th down when he crosses the line. So has he got enough fuel then to go on another? It doesn't look like it at the moment, as we can see. Carter pulling away then. He manages to get a 1:17.3, so that's a good lap from the Haas driver, puts him into the top 10. Remember, as per normal qualifying rules, despite the fact we don't have the Q2 session here, it is a lock-in on tyres for that those drivers that do qualify in the top 10. So Carter would be starting on those 2-lap-old softs should he stay there. Currently Shadow Moody the last in that top 10. As Matt's 3/10 up, then he's come through 60, but he runs very, very wide on the exit. Doesn't invalidate though, because I've noticed, but he spins it, and Matt will not be able to improve from 9th then. That's unfortunate for the McLaren driver. Capawande pits, so it looks like he won't improve, nor will Greg. Greg will start back. Master Lito, he has run out of fuel, so he can't improve on 13th. Interesting to see he stayed on those 5-lap-old softs, and Warrior Huntsman on those 4-lap-old softs as well. He's invalidated his time. We've got just 25 seconds left. We're waiting a few drivers to cross the line. Murphy is 4 seconds slower on a 1:15.9, so he's made a mistake then, and that has cost him a good run. I think he's running low on fuel as well, so it'll be interesting to see. We've got just 5 seconds left. I don't think Strauss will be able to make the line. No, we won't there. So how many flags will we see on the side? I do not know, but Strauss is currently on provisional pole then as he dives into the box. Murphy is 4/10 slower, in that first sector. What about Super Gabu, who's currently in 3rd? He's coming through the front section, but we'll jump on board with a Renault of Wolf Damon then as he comes through the final turn 17. Can he improve on that P6 start? No, he cannot. So it's a 1:16.9 was his first time. That was a 1:18 from the Renault driver. Who's going to cross the line next? It looks like the Alpha Tauri of Warrior Huntsman, or is he coming into the box? No, he's boxing, so we'll jump back on board then with Super Gabu, but he's invalidated, so he can't improve on 3rd. That leaves MUFC Harvey, but he's also invalidated. Meister Leto, as he comes around the final corner, he's 30 seconds down, remember, because he's got no fuel. Who does that leave? That leaves Murphy. So our drivers have invalidated that are left on track, and we have our first pole sitter of the season. It is Strauss J01. His brother would be proud of 1:14.7, puts him almost 1.2 seconds clear of Murphy in 2nd place. Important to note though, however, that those 2 drivers have dropped into this division for tonight's race. They weren't involved on Thursday, and we wish we had a few drivers pull out last minute, so they are covering. That is why there is that disparity in time. So the fastest academy driver is indeed Super Gavu. 1:16.073 puts him 3rd. Racing Slade, strong showing. 1:16.6 has him 4th. Warrior Huntsman Gaming, row 3. Harvey and Carter 7th and 8th. Matt Warner is 9th after spinning on his last lap. Vegas rounds out the top 10, so he will be starting on that medium compound tyre. Watch out for him in the race, because everyone else above him will be on softs. I know it says Racing Slave there, but he was unable to improve on his lap time. Shadow Moody, Capowanda 11th and 12th, just missing out by a few tenths on that top 10. And then the 2 Racing Points seem to struggle a little bit today, whether it's the circuit, whether it's just the fact that they are new to the game, and league racing will be to be seen. And we've got a latecomer there in D-Morts. He will start from the back of the grid. So there we have it. Who will win in this race? We got a comment there from Digweed, one of our tier 1 drivers. Yes indeed, it looks like the Strauss family are very quick on this game. I believe Pepin is the name of the brother that runs in tier 1. He was very, very quick last season. Struggled a little bit in the season opener, but he is ready and waiting to go for USA on Thursday, sorry, and I'm sure he'll be cheering his brother on, Will J. Strauss. As we are delighted, I think, to be able to say that I've got Matt Warner, one of the McLaren drivers, able to talk to me. How did you find that qualifying, if you are there, Matt? Yeah. How does it feel to be back racing in the academy then? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I said, yeah, you did mention, as I said, and we've mentioned it quite a lot already, that Strauss and Murphy are from a higher tier, so there is that little bit of speed differential that we will probably see throughout the race as well. But it's quite close throughout the rest of the field, only a few attempts separating the drivers. Yeah, I was going to say, we was on board with you. It was so unfortunate you ran a little bit wide coming into that double right-hander, and then you just put your foot down a little bit too early. But just for everyone that's watching on YouTube back home, whether it's live or whether they're watching this back, what's it like, the academy? Because obviously it's a developmental league compared to normal. So everyone is a little bit slower, everyone does run more assist than them, but how does that help drivers like yourself that are getting new? Because I mean, from what I know, you yourself are new to a wheel, so just what does it mean to have something like this to be able to help you? Yeah, I think it's just worth saying, Matt, that all the time I've been speaking to you, apparently you've had your voice settings turned off. So unfortunately, I seem a bit like an idiot, and I have been talking to myself. But that's all right. So thank you for joining me, and for those of you watching at home, you can see there the predicted tyre strategies there, and the one stop for medium and hards, both roughly lap 8 for the one stop. So we'll get the few telemetry moves up as MUFC Harvey already involved in an instant. Then he will stay on the grid in P8. This formation lap crucial for keeping your tyre temps and your brakes at a reasonable level for the race itself. Mexico, one of these circuits with a long straight down towards the first corner, and as we see, there is the other Strauss. Welcome along, Pepin. I can see you there saying if your brother does not win, he should not be there. What a lovely little pep talk that is for your brother. Wishing him all the best. So just, you can see once again the predicted pit stop strategy, mediums and hards both on a one stop, with those soft tyres expected to go about 8 laps. And this is your pole sitter then, Strauss J01. He will start alongside Murphy on the front row. Super Gabu and Racing Slade round out row 2. Warrior Huntsman is P5. Very good qualifying from Wolf Gaming. He said in the chat he was very pleased with P6, and it's a good start for him then. Harvey will line up alongside Carter on the 4th row, and the top 10 is rounded out by Matt and the alternate strategy of Vegas in the Mercedes. We've got Shadow Moody, Kappa Wonder, Master Letho, Greg's Game Centre, and D-Mort's all rounding out the top 15 Wonder Watt tyres.
I can be heard now, Draper.
For D-Mort's. Hello, Matthew. Welcome along as we get ready to start this race. I wish you the best of luck, Matt, and hopefully we'll be able to tune in with you during the race. So here we go then. Good luck, Matt. We wait for the 5 red lights. Come on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the 5 red lights. We await the roar of the engines. They are away here in the academy. Who's going to get the best start from the front row? A little bit of wheel spin there from Strauss as Murphy pulls away into the lead. It's a great start from Racing Slade. He's coming alongside. Down they go towards turn 1. Not a great camera angle there. We can already see Pole Seat has been jumped by 3, almost 4 as we've got AlphaTauri down the inside, but they all seem to make it through. Has everyone been able to make it through? We see a Racing Point running wide. There's a McLaren off the track there at turn 2. Alfa Romeo taking loss there, coming off that second and third corner. As we see, it's a great start for Murphy then. He's pulled out almost a second through that first sector. Very good start. I think it was a little bit of wheel spin for the Williams of Strauss. He's back up past Warrior Husband. We've got yellow flags then. Down to a second sector. Super Gabu drops from P2, goes to look around the outside of Wolf Gaming, down the inside towards the beginning of this. So we've got cars spinning in the background now. I'm not sure who that is. That's the Alfa Romeo of D-Morts and Greg. So early spins for those two drivers. Vegas dropping down to P13 as well. Not sure whether that's the tyres not up to temperature or if he was involved in an instant, but he is 4 seconds back, so it looks like he has spun. We go back to the front of the race, and Strauss has managed to catch back up with Murphy then as he come down to cross the line for the first time of 18 this evening. Strauss is looking to catch Murphy then 6/10. The gap after that opening up, the top 3 pulling away from Racing Slade then. Warrior Huntsman has jumped 2 places. You can see the biggest mover from the first lap though is Matt. He is up into P5. What about MUFC Harvey? He's in for a front wing change. So we saw that there was a bit of front wing end plate flying about coming through the chicane. Must have been from the Ferrari driver. So an early pit stop for him. But what tyres has he fit? It's just a medium, so he potentially can get those till the end of the race. And I'm not sure what my timing is doing there. Apparently Matt is in the lead, but it's all over the place after that opening lap, so we shall wait and see. As Greg pits then for some medium tyres, another one into the pits, as I can't quite see what's going on with the telemetry, so we'll turn the details off for the second. There we go. So as it stands, Murphy leads then. It's a nice little battle here at the front. This is Murphy in the Haas, followed by the AlphaTauri Warrior Huntsman, who's got past Strauss then, taking P2 as it stands. And then there is the Williams of your pole sitter, 120.2 from Warrior Huntsman. Sees him take the fastest lap. Racing Slade is in 4th. It's 5th for Wolf Gaming. He's managed to jump Super Gabu. Awful start from the Red Bull driver. He's dropped 4th position as he sits in 6th. One of the Racing Points up to 7th already. Meister Letho started on the back row of the grid, and he is now up into 7th. Matt has jumped a place to 8th. It's Shadow Moody in 9th and Capo Wanda in 10th. So a very hectic start there through the first few corners, and we can see already that gaps are starting to form. We've got 5 seconds to Vegas then, who's got some front wing damage. You could see there just as they come through turn 3 that he's missing the left part of his front wing, and there'll be a clearer image. You can see not good for him at the moment. What about D-Morts? He's all over the back of him, and then you've got your 3 drivers that have pits, so MUFC, Carter and Greg all making those early drops in the box, and Strauss has got past Warrior Huntsman then, and now is eyeing up the Haas gearbox. DRS now open. We've done 3 laps, so I'm expecting the Williams will move up into first position. He's got to make sure he keeps it nice and pinned as they come through the final section. You can see there cars there. We've got car off in the background, so as we wait for that to see, we've got D-Mort's round for the second time this race. He's lost it coming through the S's, and he is down in 12th. So Murphy then 5/10 clear but with a double DRS zone to face. It's 3/10 now as the Williams pulls to the right to try and have a look down the inside. Not this time. Oh, he dived down the inside and they've touched. Oh, it's very, very moved down. It's wide on. There's carnage. There is carnage, and the Warrior Huntsman monster trucks his way through up into second place over the top of that Williams. Capuano is giving a sub. Oh, and there's a car in the wall there. That's the Haas of Murphy. Looked like there's a bit of contact with Warrior Huntsman as he barges his way up into third place. What a opening exchange. This is turning out to be all the top six within 2 seconds of each other. Super Gabu making up for that poor start then. He's looking down the barrel of Wolf Gaming, but it'll be a bit of a DRS train as they come out of the S section. Warrior Huntsman now has 5/10 to Strauss, who then has 1 point. Nice. Oh, as Murphy really lets his rear kick out through that section. There's going to be a Renault looking down the inside of the McLaren. Is any of these going to make the move stick? He's run wide on the exit, pushes the McLaren wide. That allows him to come back round the outside, but it's going to be a tight line for the McLaren, and the Renault parks himself on the apex, gets that move done, but the McLaren steams around the outside again then a bit later on that brake pedal, sees him retake fourth position, and that's allowed Super Gabu a run on the Renault then. As you can see, overtake button is depressed, forced a little bit wide from the Renault, but DRS comes open and he looks like he is going to get that move done. The Renault out of ERS, and with no DRS is a bit of a sitting duck, so not a good exchange for the Renault, losing 3 places just there as Warrior Huntsman taps the back of the Haas as they come through turn 3, and you can see there is sorry, that was the Williams, not the Haas. That gap just 3/10 as we start lap 5 then. They've pulled almost 2 seconds to the Haas of Murphy. I wonder whether his tyres are starting to wear a little bit. Remember, lap 8 was the predicted pit stop time for those on the softs. The only one in the top 10 that wasn't running softs was Vegas, but he's down in 11th following those brutal opening exchanges where he lost part of his front wing. And again, Murphy's rear seems to kick out as he comes through turns 9, 10 and 11. But Strauss managing now to pull a gap of just over a second on Warrior Huntsman. That means he won't be in DRS zone, but he will still get a little bit of that slipstream in towards turn 1, but it's not going to be as strong without the DRS. And already 3/10 gained through turns 15 and 16 there, as Warrior Huntsman then, the first of the lead runners, is going to dive into the pits. That puts Murphy up into second. Will anyone else follow the Alpha Tauri into the pits? It doesn't look like it just yet. So Meister Leitho having a good race so far on his debut. I remember started, I think it was 13th. He's up into 6th as we go down the field towards the McLaren of Matt there. He's just ahead of Capuano. That gap now a second, but gaps starting to form. Warrior Huntsman then taking the gamble of the early pit stop, but he has dropped a lot of track position. He comes out just behind MUFC Harvey. Warrior Huntsman will not have DRS, remember, because he wasn't within the second of Strauss when he dived into the pits. So all eyes on the leader then in his Williams. Is he going to box this lap to prevent the undercut, or is he going to keep going for another few laps? I reckon maybe lap 12. We've got yellow flags in sector 2, and that looks like it's a Haas. It is indeed the Haas of Murphy is round. I said over the last couple of laps his back end has been kicking out through this section of 8, 9 and 10, and he's unfortunately succumbed to a spin. Oh, he's really struggling with those warm tyres. You can see just how much it does affect you. So he has lost plenty of time from there. We've got cars coming up behind him. That is Demorts, Harvey and Huntsman then looking to make use of those fresh tyres. And there is another pit stop at the front, so Racing Slade becomes the next of the top runners to dive into the pits. You see there, sporting the number 55 of Carlos Sainz, Capuano in the background there, given a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. What about this then? So 7 seconds the gap between Strauss and Gabu. Wolf Gaming in third, Shadow Moody up into fourth, Meister Leitho running really wide through that chicane, making a big mistake. It's cost him a few positions, as you can see. Vegas still with that front wing damage coming up through in towards turn 4. We've got a 3-second penalty down the grid for Warrior Huntsman and MUFC Harvey on that first chicane. It's all action stations here as the McLaren goes down the inside of that straight. and we'll have the outside line for the corner. He turns in, luckily managed to avoid that front nose of the Ferrari. Remember, we run reduced damage here, so some spins will still see you suffer damage, but not as much as on the full damage. The gap extending to 8 seconds at the front of this race then, as Strauss sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:19.4. Certainly runs in the family, does the speed on the game. Super Gabu in second then, staying out a little bit longer. Wolf Gaming pits from third. Matt Warner and Shadow Moody also into the pits. Meister Latho opting to stay out for another lap. We're looking out for Warrior Huntsman. Remember, he decided to try and utilise the undercut on the race leader, pitting on lap 6, I believe it was. As we see, there is the Renault of Wolf Gaming, so he's managed to stay in front of that Renault. Shadow Moody and Matt Warner exit the pits 10th and 11th then. Carter is coming down the pit straight though, so will he get out in front? He does, as does Capo Wanda. He gets in front of the McLaren, but not in front of the race. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. They're not sure what that's for. As we go up through the grid once more, D Mort's up into 5th place then, yet to pit, remember. As we see and have a look at the tyres, so you can already see 7-lap-old tyres for the front runners of Strauss Gabu. Gabu getting that gap down by almost 3 seconds on that previous tour of the circuit. I wonder whether Strauss has made a mistake, and you can see then he's in the box, so, and he's missing his front wing, so he has indeed lost about 4 seconds. Whether he's tapped the wall or another car remains to be seen, but he is in, as is Super Gabu. What about Meister Latho? Will he complete a trio of pit stops this lap? No, he will stay out. So those tyres then halfway through this race serving him well for the moment, as he comes out in first there. New front wing for Strauss Gabu closes that gap then. Still be a few seconds. What about the rest of the runners? D Mort's up into second. Wolf Gaming does jump Strauss then, so the undercut working for Wolf Gaming, but not for Warrior Huntsman. He's still stuck down in 7th. Remember, he pit from second as he looks down the inside of Racing Slade and gets that move done nice and tidily. So he has come out just behind the race leader then. Strauss in 5th. That front wing change costing him, and worked out 3 or 4 place drop for the Williams. Wolf Gaming then, the big winner from that pit stop, was in 6th at one stage, but stayed out for those extra 2 laps and come out in a net first place. Remember, D Mort's and Meister Latho still to pit. As you can see there, everyone else has completed what we expect is their pit stop strategy for this race. Wolf Gaming running very wide though. That's allowed Harvey down the inside using DRS. Strauss looks down there as well. Both of those drivers making it through, but the 3 of them run wide, and Wolf Gaming's lost part of his front wing, so he will be struggling for the rest of this race unless he manages to pit and change that front wing. Oh, it's very tight, and the Renault kicks out a little bit. That's D Mort's into the pit then for his 1 stop that we expect to see. Meister Latho though staying out. 10 laps he's done now on those soft compound tyres. Remember, you do have to run at least 2 compounds of dry tyres in a dry race. As Warrior Huntsman now gets down the inside of Wolf Gaming into turn 1. Oh, but the Renault touches him and runs wide. Lucky they didn't spin there. Didn't leave enough room. That wing damage surely compromising his line a little bit as well. In the background there, Super Gabu making a move on Racing Slade. He moves up into P6. Nice and clean through that second DRS zone. He'll be looking to chase down the Renault now. You can see there with that front wing damage cost him in this middle sector in particular, and the S's is where you see Carter given another 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Quite a lot of those going around already as Strauss gets around the outside of Harvey, down the inside. Warrior Huntsman, another one to succumb to a 3-second time limit. Is he going to have a run down on the Ferrari into this turn 12? Yes, he does. Gets that move done. He runs wide on the exit. That's allowed the Ferrari around the outside for turn 13. Who's going to have the line for this 15, 16 and 17 little kink? It's the Alpha Tauri of Warrior Huntsman. So Meister Latho finally does pit lap 11 of 18. Fastest lap of the race for Strauss, 1:18.7. puts him 2 seconds clear of the closest challenger in the AlphaTauri, MUFC Harvey, after struggling off the line originally. He's now up into third. We've got a close battle here as Super Gabu gets down past Wolfgang. Wolfgang is going to make a lunge. Runs very, very wide on the exit. Oh, Super Gabu takes a wide line through turn 3, and that's allowed the Renault down the outside, but Gabu's got DRS, as does Wolfgang, who's going to have the line in towards this nice section. That's a shit camera angle. Oh, and the Renault's run very, very wide. Oh, he's come back on track dangerously. You better watch out for that going forward, but Super Gabu makes the move up into P4. Then he'll be chasing down the Ferrari of Harvey, Warrior Huntsman and Strauss. Then Strauss pulls away then 2.5 seconds. She's now pulling out a 10th through the second sector. Supreme confidence from the Williams driver. This time it goes purple in sector 2. I'm expecting to see those information down in the bottom there. We've seen another fastest lap of the race. 3 seconds the gap now, just another 4/10 in that second sector alone. There it is then, a 1:18.5, and the Williams is in a very good position going for this race. Super Gabu chasing down MUFC Harvey. He's got DRS. Looks like he might be a bit too far back this lap, but it will probably give him a good run down towards there as Racing Slade takes advantage of the Renault's misfortunes. As Renault cuts another corner, you can see there just how much he went off the track, and that 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits. What about Super Gabu? How close is he to the Ferrari? Not close enough into turn 4. And Racing Slade pulling away now from the Renault. Up at the front then, 4.5 seconds the gap now between Strauss and Warrior Huntsman. This is the battle for the final podium position. Just 3/10 separate Harvey and Gabu as Murphy set the fastest lap of the race on those fresh softs. He's down at the back of the grid there. You can see, unfortunate race for him, started P2. He's now down in 14th. No point, no forward. Fastest lap outside of the top 10, as is traditional with the Formula 1 system. Here we go then. This is going to be the chance for Super Gabu to make a move on that podium position. He's almost on the edge of his seat as he comes through turn 17, and here we go then. DRS opens up. You can see the Ferrari gearbox getting ever closer. When's he going to pull to the right? He does it then. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Is it going to be the Ferrari or the Red Bull? The Red Bull goes off the track and the Ferrari has better drive. And the line for turn 2 coming through turn 3. Is the Red Bull going to have the traction? Yes, he is. And DRS is going to pop open. And the move looks like it's going to be done into turn 4. Just going to make sure you make the braking apex. There is a nice clean overtake for Super Gabu, and he is back up into third. As Harvey's given a 3-second time penalty then for exceeding track limits. This is the battle for 5th and 6th then. Racing Slade getting past Wolf Gaming, but with the long straights here at Mexico, it's hard to pull away if they maintain that DRS distance. Wolf Gaming, remember, does have wing damage, so he is compromised in sector 2 in particular. These S's, the downforce that you require, but you can see there he's closing that gap with DRS. However, using his ERS a bit too prematurely. Need to keep that building up a bit. Wolf, give yourself a good run out the final few corners. Here we go then. There's a bit of a tight line from the Renault driver, but he's got a better run out of that final section than the McLaren. Is he going to be able to make a move? Doesn't look like it, that McLaren. Quick on the exit. There you go. You can see using overtake to defend, and I said you need to keep that overtake for the move, and the Renault showing just what happens if you don't. He will have the DRS though. Is he going to pull to the right hand side? He does. Is he going to get the move done? He's down the inside, but once again the McLaren has the traction on the outside. Another 3-second time penalty for Wolf Gaming. Oh, and he almost drives into the back of Racing Slade on the exit. Here we go then, up in towards turn 4. Is this where Wolf Gaming takes that P5? He's down the inside. Oh, he takes a very tight line. The McLaren's going to have the inside line, and they've almost touched as they come through turn 6, and they're forced wide. The Renault goes around the outside through the double right-handers and gets that move done. Not the cleanest of moves, but a nice take around the outside of the double right-handers. We saw a close battle going on behind between the two Alfa Romeos and the Haas of Carter. This is for P7. As we saw there, Super Gabu given a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. We've got just 4 laps to go, and Strauss now leads by 7.5 seconds. Dominated this race almost start to finish. Remember, he had a bad start off the line, whether he had a bit too much wheel spin or was just caught short at the lights by a few tenths. He is currently 7.25 seconds ahead of Warrior Huntsman in the AlphaTauri. Gabu in third then. MUFC Harvey has dropped a few tenths outside of DRS zone, but holding his position. As we said about the battle that's going on between the Alfa Romeos and the Haas, and the first of the Haas is down through the DRS zone, gets that move done. He moves up into 7th place. We've done 18 laps now on those soft compound tyres. Not quite sure what's going on there, but he is up into P7. What about Shadow Moody? Is he going to be close enough to utilise his DRS? Not so much this lap. Capawande currently occupies the last points playing position. He is in P10. Vegas in 11th, and Matt fighting just outside the points, but they are within a few seconds of Capawande. And remember, there are still time penalties that I haven't been able to keep up with, so we will not know until all drivers line the provisional result. Should there be any stewards inquiries, will remain to be seen, but we will take the provisional result based on what they come across the line and with the time penalties, as Matt drops a little bit of time through that second sector there. You see in the background there is Strauss coming onto the back of the racing point of Greg. Not the start the racing point would have wanted for this race, but it's all about improvement in this league, so things can only get better as he pulls to let the Williams car through. Lap 16 of 18. That gap now 8.3 seconds at the front of the race. Must be a proud brother watching on then. Super Gabu still maintaining that 2-second gap between him and Warrior Huntsman, but he has now pulled away from Harvey, almost doubled the gap in the last few laps. The top 4 looks set, but this battle's still going on for what is P5, and they're very, very tight through this stadium section. The Renault of Wolf Gaming looking to once again go around the outside of Racing Slade's McLaren, but not this time. Can't get that move done. However, he will have DRS coming out of the S's onto the run up towards turn 13. Having to back up a little bit there with that front wing damage has cost him a little bit of time to his McLaren compatriot. In the background there, Demorts charging down towards this battle. The gap, you can see there, under 2 seconds. I'm expecting him to be side by side almost by the end of this race. We've got 10 seconds at the front of this race now. Really dominant performance from the younger Strauss. What can happen? Can MUFC Harvey close that gap to Super Gavu? As far as I'm aware, they both have at least 1 penalty, so we shall see. Wolf Gaming still not able to get past Racing Slade, despite the fact that DRS, that front wing damage really coming a cropper for him. But there it is, and you can see on board with Demorts just how much he's managed to close on this little battle. Was almost 5 seconds at one point, but those softer compounds showing just how much more speed they've got as Wolf Gaming runs very, very wide coming out of turn 5 through 6 and 7 then. Who's going to have the better traction is Demort's going to make a move down in towards turn 8. He's got the inside line, gets the elbows out and gets the move done. It forces the Renault off track a little bit though, but they're almost side by side, and it's now completed for the Alfa Romeo driver. Wolf Gaming having to back off then and losing a few tenths himself. Demorts will now have his eyes on that P5, and Racing Slade. Wolf Gaming given another 3-second penalty then. Who's that in the background? That is Carter and Shadow Moody fighting for 8th and 9th. Oh, as we've got there's a Mercedes round. That is a Vegas. He has spun. He is down in 12th place after early front wing damage. But that spin costing him as we start the final lap of the race. I say we start the final lap of the race. Strauss was almost halfway round the lap before we even get to him. Leads by 7 seconds now, so a little mistake probably for the Williams driver, as Carter PFC then is given another penalty Oh, and he's lost the rear on the exit. He's done well to keep it there. Will Shadow Moody be able to make a move? He looks a little bit too far back for this time round. We shall wait and see. As Murphy, really disappointing race from him, started P2 but caught out very early on. Means he dropped down a spin in sector 2, put him at the back of the pack, and he's just not been able to recover as he would like. Some close battles still going on. D Morts and Racing Slade still nip and tuck, but you can see there the fireworks are out as the Williams comes round the final corner, and Strauss J01 takes the spoils here in Mexico City. Warrior Huntsman comes across in P2. Super Gabu will come across third as MUFC Harvey comes round, finishes fourth. What about Slade and D Morts? They're almost back to back, gearbox to gearbox as we come around the final corner. Oh, a little kick out from D Morts there. Means Racing Slade will cross the line in fifth. D Morts will come across sixth. Wolf Gaming comes across in seventh, but he's jumped by Carter and Shadow Moody. Shadow Moody takes seventh, then good result for the Alfa Romeos. Carter will be eighth, Wolf Gaming ninth, and Capo Wande drops the points. Matt Warner takes eighth place for McLaren, then jumping them based on penalty. I did say that they would come a cropper. The unfortunate Vegas, after spinning on that final point, on that penultimate lap, sorry, drops down to 12th. As we say, Meister Lather comes across 13th for the racing point, and Greg, having been lapped, has already finished. Murphy comes across the line and completes this race. So that is it. CRA is officially underway in season 2. We have a new winner atop the podium. It is Strauss J01. Unfortunately for him though, he is just reserving in this race, so he will not score those points for championship nor constructors. Same will go for P2 and anyone else who is not in this league. Remember, I did mention at the start of the race that we had a few drivers pull out last minute. A couple of drivers that were missing on Thursday when Tiers 1 and 2 opened up this season. The little shuffle there from the Williams driver as he takes victory. His brother got victories last season, and Strauss J now has his victory as at CRL for the first time, and he will take confidence going forward. So there we have it then. Strauss J01 crosses the line in first. Second place for Huntsman, and Super Gabu rounds out the top 3. MUFC Harvey will be 4th, Racing Slade 5th. D-Mort's great race from him 6th. His teammate Shadow Moody in 7th. Matt jumped up to 8th following the addition of penalties. It's Carter in 9th, and Wolf Gaming will take the final point on offer. Capo Wande just misses out by 2 seconds worth of penalties. Vegas, Meister Latho, Murphy, and then Greg's Game Centre down in a 15th place. So that is it. We are finished here in Mexico. CRA is officially open for CR2. We look forward for you joining in next week when once again CRA will hit these F1 circuits. We'll see you then.